Hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another installment of FREEWrite Friday. My name is Jessica Lynn Johnson. For those of you who don't know me, I am the founder and CEO of Soaring Solo Studios, which is a company that is dedicated to the direction and development of one-person plays. And I am blessed to work with people all over the globe, Africa, Canada, Mexico, New York, Hawaii, Los Angeles, Florida, lots of places. So I am honored to get to help people tell their stories from stage and also virtually these days. I've been in this field for over 20 years. I am also a solo artist myself with 2 shows that I toured with for a little over 13 years. And I'm also writing a 3rd solo show along with a book about solo theater. And I'm on the advisory board for the Los Angeles Women's Theater Festival. I'm a blogger for NoHo Arts. So I write a blog all about solo theater. It's called Soaring Solo. You can find it on NoHo Arts on their website. And what else can I tell you? I've worked with hundreds of solo artists, but I have actively directed and developed well over 100 solo shows over the years, and it's my passion. So that's a little bit about me. I'd love to hear from you. Please say hi in the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from, where you're at in your own solo theater journey. So yeah, where you're tuning in from and where you're at in your solo theater journey. Maybe you're just curious about solo shows. Maybe you're touring. Maybe you're somewhere in the middle of those places, but say hi and let us know those things. And the mission of FREEWrite Friday is just to create a free space for us to come together in creative community and look at structure and writing techniques and tips for solo theater specifically. So that's what this is. And it's sporadic. I do as many Fridays a month as I can at various times, depending on my schedule, but you can always look on my website for the updated schedule. The next FREEWrite Friday is happening Friday, November 19th at 1 p.m. Pacific. And I think we have some sort of time change happening in there, but that should be 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern. I could be mistaken, but definitely 1 p.m. Pacific. So look at that. A little bit of housekeeping. If you're going to be doing anything distracting, go ahead and turn your camera off. Otherwise, I'd love for you to keep your cameras on and be engaged. And make sure you either have something to write with and write on nearby, or you have a way to record yourself in case you want to improvise what comes up for you and just record yourself. That's good too. Basically how this works, I'll just give you a talking point, a little bit of a lecture, and then we'll write together or record if you prefer together for a short amount of time. And I'll go over some basic announcements at the end, and that's it. So the whole thing should take like 20 or 30 minutes. We don't do Q&A. We don't share the work in this setting. That's more for my free Saturday classes, or if you want to work with me in a coaching setting. But if you do have questions that come up, feel free to email me at soaringsoloartist@gmail.com. Okay, so on with FREEWrite Friday. And don't worry if you're new to this experience, don't feel like you're at a disadvantage or something because you missed the other ones. I really want each of these to be able to stand alone, but I would encourage you to go back to my YouTube channel and watch the FREEWrite Fridays that you've missed. I think there's like a dozen of them at this point. But today we're continuing our exploration of Joseph Campbell's The Hero's Journey structure and applying it to solo theater. So today we're looking at the part of that structure that's called tests, allies, and enemies. Tests, allies, and enemies. And this is essentially where the hero or heroine of the journey is facing new challenges and tests and obtaining friends and foes, so to speak. So last time we talked about crossing the threshold. So from the hero's ordinary world, their ordinary mundane life, whatever that looks like, and entering into the special world. So new set of circumstances, new people, all those things. And so now that we're in this special world, who are those key characters that we're meeting? Who are the enemies? Who are the allies? And what are those tests that people are encountering? Or I should say their hero is encountering, whoever the hero of your solo show is. So I'll give you some examples. And just as I'm talking through this, keep thinking of it in terms of your own solo script and your own solo story. With the show Fertile that we've talked about several times in this setting, which is written and performed by Heather Dowling, who's a soaring solo instructor, and she's also an award-winning solo artist. Her character Jenny, I would say some of the tests that she encountered was seeing if she could handle acupuncture as she was trying to get pregnant, seeing if she could hold her ground at the neighborhood watch party where all the parents were comparing stories about how cute their kids were. And she was like trying to just have a neighborhood meeting and being mad, or even navigating her marriage on the other side of this diagnosis of PCOS, which made getting pregnant challenging. So those were some of the tests. And some of the allies that she met, that Jenny's character met, was Mary, for instance, who was a friend of Jenny's, but they became closer as she realized that Mary also had PCOS. And that was just something they had never talked about before until Jenny told her about her own situation. And I would qualify an enemy, and that might feel like a strong term, so you don't have to be too hooked onto what an enemy means. But in this setting, the enemy would be the character of Dr. Wright, who was just a very arrogant, egotistical doctor who, yes, was very confident he could get Jenny pregnant, but at the end of the day, he did not care about her and her husband. It was all about him getting paid and amplifying his own reputation. So in that way, he didn't feel good to her. He didn't feel like a true ally of her situation. And so in this context, we would label him as an enemy. And it could also be, you could look at it as Jenny's own internal ability to just tunnel vision and focus on such a narrow vision of what a family could be or what parenting could be. That could be considered an enemy. So her own internal world could be an enemy as well. Or in After the Fall, I know we have Johnny Ray on the call today. In his show, he leaves his ordinary world of being in his apartment and being an actor and a masseuse and all these things, falls out of a window because of a terrible fire in his apartment. And now he's in a special world. Basically, as soon as he hits the ground, he's in a special world. He goes to the hospital. He has all these physical ailments he has to work through. He has internal demons he has to fight. He has career obstacles that he has to face. Like, these are all these different tests. And some of the allies, you could say, Maricela, who is a love interest in the show, is an ally, or Angel Dad, who's a character in the show, is also an ally, a spirit guide that really walks Johnny through the experience. But then we also have our dark Johnny character who comes on the scene a little bit later, who's definitely an enemy because he's the internal negative, we should just quit, we should just give up on life character that's not necessarily helping Johnny. And that's an internal demon. So our demons and our allies, or our enemies and our allies, can certainly be internal characters. They can also be inanimate objects. I think Janice is on this call, and Janice played COVID in her one-woman show. Catherine Barnes also did a version of COVID in her one-woman show. So COVID could be an enemy, that our protagonist encounters. So that's a little bit about that part of the hero's journey, looking at our allies, our enemies, and our tests. So I'm going to give you 8 minutes, and I just want you to, it'd probably be simplest to just focus on one test in your life and think about who are the enemies or unenemy, who are the allies or unally that came up for you during that specific test. So maybe you started a new job and some of the coworkers were for you and some of the coworkers were against you as you were being tested in this new job. Maybe you went on a trip and some of the people you encountered were for you and some were against you. Or again, you can think internally, is your inner critic, an inner demon, your own sense of shame or guilt, a character. So those are just some things to consider, and I'm going to give you 8 minutes and I will let you know when your time is up. Please just write whatever comes up for you. Maybe it's a character scene, a character monologue, first person, narration. Just let it come out on the page and let it be a messy first draft. I'll let you know when your time's up. It's about 2 minutes left, 2 minutes. Okay, please wrap up your writing. Hopefully you had some good discoveries with that. I just can't say enough how important having tests, allies, and enemies in our solo show is in terms of creating dramatic tension and making our shows interesting. Um, it also really helps to create a character arc so that who our hero is at the beginning of the story and who they become at the end of the story is different, so that it's not just on one note the whole show. Because we've all seen those solo shows where either there isn't a clear testing and transformation of the character, so it just feels anecdotal and there's kind of not really a point to it and it's over and you're kind of like, what was that? I don't really know what the message was. I don't really know what I just saw. Just a bunch of things that happened to somebody. So this is a way to really avoid that and also hold the audience interest as we see the character facing these tests and meeting these cast of characters. And it's always fun as actors and solo artists to take on different characters and to embody them on stage. You'll see in the chat, I put several announcements. We have a lot happening in our community as always. So I'll start with my next free class, The Art of Creating the One-Person Play, is happening Saturday, November 13th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And you can visit soaringSoloStudios.com, just go under events or under the free stuff tab, either way. And you can sign up and you'll get an email with the link to Zoom. If you wanted to work with me in a more professional capacity, I have one-on-one coaching, power pair coaching, where it's you, one other solo artist, and myself guiding those sessions. I also have group coaching where it's up to 6 solo artists at a time, kind of like a solo artist writer's room. So those are all great ways to have accountability, to actually make some progress with your solo show and get some guidance. We all need outside eyes and we all need accountability to reach our goals. So you can email me at soaringsoloartist@gmail.com for more information about any of that. Also, we are in the midst of my Revealed series, which is a virtual reading series. So we're just celebrating a lot of brand new work by brilliant solo artists who are workshopping new pieces. So if that's something that sounds like a good stake to put in the ground for yourself, to give you something to work toward, that isn't all the bells and whistles and commitments of a world premiere, but it is something that is meaningful and allows you to get feedback on your work before you do your world premiere, I would suggest submitting to Revealed. So you can email me for information about that. It's going to run all the way through April of 2022, and it's ongoing right now. It's just a great stake to put in the ground. And I would encourage you tonight, if you possibly can, at 6 p.m. Pacific time, is Out of the Blue by Eli Hans. And I can't even tell you how fantastic Eli is. He's a client of mine in Mexico, and he is a brilliant lyricist and singer, also a great character actor. And he has lived through some serious trauma and drama in his life, illnesses and relationships and all sorts of things. And he's one of the most light-filled, wonderful humans I've ever met. So I really would love for you to join us tonight and see how Revealed works. It's just donation based. So you could literally give $1 and get in the virtual door. And then you can give your feedback, and also get very entertained by the script. There's going to be a lot of original music in it and fantastic characters. And that way you can see what it's all about and see if it might be something you're interested in, and also just get involved with our community and get to know people. Also, I have, and I should say with Eli's show, just go to my website and go under events and upcoming solo shows, or you can go under the readings tab, either way, and you'll see Out of the Blue, and you can sign up there. Okay, and I was doing Isolate, Meditate, Create, which many of you joined me for during the bulk of the pandemic, which was just meditating and visualizing together and then writing together about what came up during those meditations. So that is all available on my YouTube channel. There's 120 plus episodes for free on my YouTube channel. So if you're trying to generate content and discover what your story is about and tap into subconscious mind and creative intuition, I would suggest going to my YouTube channel and watching the Isolate, Meditate, Create sessions that are all there for you. And you can find me on YouTube under my full name, Jessica Lynn Johnson, Soaring Solo LLC. And as I said at the beginning, the next FREEWrite Friday is happening November 19th at 1 p.m. Pacific. So sign up the same way you did today and get your email and join us then. Also, Binge Fringe is still continuing. We have one more show from the Soaring Solo community. Tatum is doing Redeem Her. I believe it's this coming Tuesday, and it's totally free. So you can go to the Santa Monica Playhouse, or you can just watch online. And that is a hilarious and heartwarming and just thought-provoking show. Tatum is Mormon, and I won't give away what she did, but she did something that really put her faith and her reputation on the line. So it's just a journey through how she was able to, or if she was able to, redeem herself in the Mormon church. So that's happening on Tuesday, I believe, and it's free. So just look on my website under events for Redeem Her. And Diana Varco, who I believe is on this call, or at least she is also touring. There she is. She's touring all over the world with her fantastic show, Shattered, where she plays a ton of characters. She deals with trauma, and yet it is an absolutely hysterical, darkly comedic solo show. So if you're also interested in learning about personification, in playing inanimate objects or feelings and finding a great cast of characters, from that, I would recommend watching Shattered. We learn so much by watching what other solo artists are doing. Her information is also on my website under events. Let's see. And then FREEWrite Friday, if you enjoyed today, you want to go back and catch up on the episodes, again, just go to my YouTube channel and all of that is there. You can watch the replays. This is going to go on there as soon as we're done today. And let me see. And then Flourish in Festivals is a free panel that I will be hosting with a slew of solo artists who were just in the Binge Fringe Festival and in the NAMBA Festival, and Diana Varco, who's in a bunch of festivals right now, as I previously mentioned. So that is happening. Let's see, I put the link in there, but I didn't put the details in there for myself. I think November 13th. Yeah, so Saturday, November 13th, 1 p.m. Pacific. Just go to the Eventbrite link on my website and sign up for it. And it's just a panel with all of these solo artists and some other industry professionals to just give you tips for free for an hour about the festival circuit and how to be successful at it in a bunch of different ways. Marketing, performance, self-care, creativity, like all the different things, building out your creative team, all the different things that go into being a successful solo artist. We're going to dive deep into that, and you're going to have so many brilliant minds to pick during that experience. So be sure to RSVP for that. And again, it's free. So I think that's everything. I'm going to go ahead and leave the chat up so you can jot that down, but nearly everything I said is on my website or an email away if you want to reach out to me. So have a beautiful weekend, and thank you all so much.